So Ron is the president and CEO of Mentors International, a nonprofit organization with the mission of empowering the world's poor to grow in self-reliance through personal and business mentoring and access to financial services. Mentors currently serves people in 8 countries, and during 2018, they helped more than 27,000 families. Before joining Mentors International, Ron served as the president of Schreiber Foods, a global employee-owned business headquartered in Green Bay, Wisconsin, with annual sales of more than $5 billion. It's one of the largest dairy companies in the world. Ron received his bachelor's degree from Utah State University in geology and has a passion for mentoring, leadership, and success. He's completed 3 Ironman triathlons and spends any spare time he has enjoying the ski slopes of the entire world. So we're really happy to have Ron here, and I'll turn the time over to him.
All right, thank you. All right, thank you, everybody. It's great to be here. Robin, I love your enthusiasm. Right, I mean, you should come up and just give this. That was awesome. So I have to start with, well, first of all, thanks to the SEED program. That's awesome that you won that award. Mike, Andy, the SEED interns, it's an amazing program. They do amazing work for mentors around the world, so I think it's awesome that they won that program and a very well-deserved recognition and award. A couple questions that I have to always start with because I have to understand and find out where the friendlies are and where maybe the enemies are. Green Bay Packer fans. Go, Pack, go. All right, now that's the good one. What about Chicago Bear fans? Oh, no. No. Why you? All right, you have an excuse. Minnesota Viking fans? All right, we're going to have some trouble over here, obviously. So I always have to understand where we're going to have like the good vibes going and where we might have some sort of not so good things going on. And so I got that now. All right, well, I appreciate the opportunity to be here. One more question for you. Who would love to know the absolute secrets of success? Yeah, I mean, everybody, right? All right, well, I get the privilege of being able to share some tips or some hints or some clues that might be considered the secrets of success. All right, so I get to do that tonight. Before I do that, I'm going to just real quickly, if I can figure out, I assume it's this button. All right, clicker's not working. Is there an on switch? Well, I know on the computer I can hit that. All right. No, if you can figure that out, that would be even better. Ha!
It's very unresponsive sometimes.
All right. So be patient. All right, Schreiber Foods. To mention that I spent my career at Schreiber Foods, $5 billion global dairy company, one of the largest in the world, 31 plants around the world. No one's ever heard of Schreiber Foods unless you live in a community where Schreiber has a facility. Right? Generally, you haven't heard of it. But I will promise you that at least 90% of you have enjoyed our products. Right? So if you've ever eaten a cheeseburger, whether it's In-N-Out or McDonald's or Wendy's or Burger King, or if you've eaten a sandwich at Subway Sandwich, you've eaten our cheese. If you ever eat a cheesecake at the Cheesecake Factory, or you go to Einstein Bagel and use the cream cheese spreads, then you've eaten our cream cheese. By the way, many other restaurants as well. If you ever eat Greek yogurt, Siggy's brand, Three Greek Gods brand, and a whole bunch of other brands, then you've eaten our yogurt. Or if you ever buy slices, chunks, shreds from kind of sort of any retailer, great value brand, Western Family brand, then you've eaten our slices, chunks, and shreds. So we don't have a brand, but we're the product sort of behind the cheesecake or behind the burger. You eat the Big Mac, you don't know that it's our cheese. So that's the company Schreiber Foods. Also mentioned a little bit here, so click. Mentors International. All of the clients, it was kind of cool to see that video because I think I've met like all of those clients that were in the video and have been in their homes and their places of business around the world. Mentors International is a nonprofit that has a vision of everybody in the world having the opportunity and the choice to be free from extreme poverty. right? There will always be poverty in this world because poverty is on a relative scale. Right? There's always going to be somebody who has more than somebody else. So poverty is relative, but extreme poverty is defined by less than $1.90 a day. Wouldn't it be cool if the world could rid everybody from that problem and we didn't have to have people, or we had an opportunity, at least a choice to be free from extreme poverty? And really that's really what the vision is. Been around for 29 years. 29 years ago, half of the world's population was in that category of extreme poverty. The percentage is a lot less today, but there are still tonight 3 billion people who will go to bed hungry. There are still tonight 1 billion people who will go to bed and who are in that category or in that class of extreme poverty. And so we believe that the way to solve that is through entrepreneurship. We believe the way to solve that is through growing businesses, right? And so that's where the SEED program comes in and helping us do that, right? How do you teach business literacy, financial literacy, some basic business skills? Provide mentoring, provide financial resources, access to resources that they otherwise wouldn't have. And so really that's what we do. The mission is through entrepreneurship to really help create self-sustaining, self-reliance, right? An uplift, not a handout, but a hand up to the people who live in extreme poverty. So that's what we do at Mentors International. In addition to those things, by the way, I'm still on the board of directors at Schreiber, so I always refer to Schreiber as sort of my company still, our company still, because I'm still on the board and actively involved, obviously actively involved with Mentors International, but I also do a lot of angel investing. So I'm invested in 10 small startup companies, anywhere from the very first seed round money all the way up to, we have one that's going to IPO, hopefully very big this year. So we're excited about that, and I love to watch businesses grow. I love to see what entrepreneurs do and how they grow and develop and plan and make big things happen. I love that. So I'm excited about what I get to do there. And the other thing, just a little bit from a personal standpoint, it was mentioned that I'm passionate about success in business, but I love to ski. I'm passionate about skiing. I've been skiing for 55 years, right? When it was the old wood skis with little straps on. So whether it's being dropped off on the top of a hill in a helicopter, or whether it's teaching my grandkids now how to ski, I love to be in the mountains. Even in the summertime, I love trekking. 2 months, the 1st of April, I will be in Nepal, and I'm going to be doing a 14-day trek to base camp of Everest. So I'm excited about that because I just love to be out doing stuff. I do triathlons. I've done 3 Ironman, as it said, and I even wear my Utah State colors when I go compete. Go Aggies. Right? So I love that. One story that I actually wasn't planning on telling that I'll share tonight because it came up a little bit during dinner tonight with a group of students. And they were sort of talking about how did I go from geology degree, right, to being in the business world and to doing the things that I've done. And so I guess to explain that a little bit, I'm going to start earlier in my life. So you've sort of seen, gosh, Schreiber, mentors, the things that I love. But let me just start a little bit earlier in my life, because I always didn't have much of a sense of direction. I'll just say that. All right, so when I was a young kid, I had one goal in life. And that one goal in life was to have as much fun as I could possibly have. And I had kind of a distorted view of what fun meant, right? If I could outrun the cops, that was fun. Right? If I could drive my teachers crazy, fun. Right? If I could drive my parents crazy, if whatever I could get away with that I shouldn't be doing was kind of fun for me. And I was pretty successful by that definition of fun. The only thing that limited my amount of fun was my parents, and they tried to put a cap or a limit on how much fun I could possibly have. So I finally got out of the house and graduated from high school, luckily, and told some of the guys at the dinner table that there's a correlation between the number of days I skied and my GPA. Right? The higher the number of days I skied, the lower the GPA. And I got a lot of days in skiing, to say, right? So anyway, I got out of the house, went to school, and my buddies and I thought that we were going to ramp up the fun meter, right? Have as much fun as we could possibly have. And so it was an early winter that year, a lot of snow. We decided we'd hunt and we'd camp and we'd fish and we'd mountain climb, we'd rock climb and we'd ski and we'd do everything that we were just passionate about. And school wasn't one of those passions. And so we didn't go to school. And I went to school the first day. By the way, I did go to school once. It was the first day to get my syllabus. And my buddy said, you don't have to worry about it because at some point in time you can drop the classes. Right? So there was 1 week left of school. And I hadn't been back since day one. And I went to drop my classes. And what do you think I was told? There's a deadline. And I said, no, my buddy said I could drop. And the guy said, well, did your buddies tell you there was a deadline? I said, no. So I ended up with 1 week left of school, not doing so well, and I got a 0.8 GPA. Yeah, right? Pretty good. Pretty good. I know, it's impressive. So for that reason, I didn't go back to school for 5 years. This isn't fun anymore. That's not so cool. And my parents had agreed to pay for my education until they got a copy of the transcript that semester. So that was kind of a quick, I didn't get any more money, right? Decided I didn't want to go back to school, so I did a lot of other things during that 5-year period, right? Did construction work, did some church volunteer service, ended up working at Nucor Steel. Went to Nucor Steel and worked there for a couple of years. They've got a plant here, but they also have plants in Texas and one in Nebraska and one in South Carolina. So I went to Nebraska and I went to South Carolina and I worked at a Nucor Steel plant. And I was making a ton of money. We worked 7 days a week, 6 weeks straight, and then we get 2 weeks off. And then I'd go back and I'd work 6 weeks straight. And when I'd come back, I'd have like a stack. You'd get paid every week. And like I'd have a stack of paychecks because you didn't cash in because it didn't do any good because you'd work 12 hours a day. So I thought this was the life. I was making a ton of money. But in the steel mill, one thing that I noticed was that there were the workers and then there were the leaders, right? And if you were a leader, you had a different color hat, right? So it was one color hat, and if you were one level up, you had a stripe around your hat. And if you were another level up, you had a different color hat and then another stripe. And they did that because in the steel mill, it's a really long steel mill, and you needed to identify where the leaders were. And so I thought, I want to be a leader. I just don't want to be a steel mill worker. And so I'm going to start asking these people what they had to do. What made them so special that they get to wear their color hat? So I started asking people. So why do you get to wear a blue hat and mine's white? Right? And everybody would tell me what they thought needed to happen, right? A universal thing that I heard was, look, kid, you got to go back to school. If you want to be something, if you want to be a leader, you got to go back to school. And so I ultimately said, okay, I'll go back to school. And I came back here and started at Utah State with the intention of going back and working at Nucor after just one semester. After one semester. My good fortune was that the steel industry kind of went south a little bit, and it wasn't such a good time to go back to the steel mill, and so I ended up staying in school for a few years. I loved the outdoors. Thought that would be something great to do, just work outside, and I thought, well, I'll just go find oil wells. Why did I get a degree in geology? Because I wanted to go find oil wells. It's kind of that simple. It was no more complex than that, right? So I got halfway through my degree in geology, and the oil industry went belly up. And there were no jobs in the oil industry. But in the meantime, I had started working at a little cheese plant in Smithfield called Cache Valley Cheese. And I had worked my way into a department manager role. I started as a janitor in this little cheese plant because I needed to pay through school because my dad wouldn't pay anymore for some reason. Right? So I needed a job. I started as a janitor. Then when I graduated with a degree in geology, I sent out a whole bunch of resumes to all of the big oil companies. And I sent out a bunch of resumes to all of the big food companies. And all of the oil companies sent me a note back and said, gee, thanks, but no thanks. We're not hiring anybody. In fact, we're laying people off. And these big food companies said, yeah, you got a degree. You've been working in the food business. You've worked your way up. Come and work for us. And so I had an opportunity to stay in the dairy industry. Almost went to work for Dannon yogurt, Dannon Foods at the time. But my general manager came to me and said, I know you want to be a leader. You've only done operations. I can't pay you as much as somebody else can pay you, but I can give you a new opportunity. You can work in sales, and you can find out what it's like on that side of the business. And so I ended up staying with that little company that was eventually acquired by Schreiber Foods, and 35 years later I ended up as the president of the company. Right? But I started in geology again, so that was a really long-winded answer of why geology, and how did that lead to business. It wasn't ever perfectly planned out that way, I will say, but I took advantage of opportunities along the way. I knew I wanted to be a leader, knew that I needed to continue to learn, and so I ended up with a geology degree doing dairy for 35 years. And sort of that's how it started and happened. Go ahead and click to the next one. One of the things that I have found through all of those experiences, right, whether it's the experience of a young guy who didn't have a lot of direction, to all of the different things that I've done since then, one of the things that I've learned is that the success principles of life are universal and they're available to everybody. It doesn't matter if you're a young kid with not much direction, or if you're in a multi-billion-dollar company, or if you're in a startup as an entrepreneur in a developed country like the US, or you're in a developing country like the countries that we operate in around the world. Right? It doesn't matter where you are, the principles are universal, and they're available to everybody. Despite the fact that they're universal and they're available to everybody, there are some self-limiting sort of comments that I've heard many times throughout my career. And they are these: I don't have what it takes to be successful, and/or I just wasn't born with the talent and skills. Well, guess what? Nobody was born with the talent and skills. They have to be developed and nurtured. And it's not true that you don't have what it takes to be successful. Everybody has what it takes. I get reminded of the story of the Wizard of Oz. The Wizard of Oz, you've got Dorothy, you got the lion, right? You got the Tin Man, you got the Scarecrow, and they're all looking for something. They're all looking for something that they didn't think or didn't know that they had, right? So whether it was a way home, or a brain, or a heart, or courage, they went to find the wizard. And when the wizard talked to each one of them, he told them this little story, like, here's a person, here are a group of people who have a lot of courage, or here's a group of people who have a lot of heart, or a lot of brain power, a lot of wisdom, a lot of smarts. But he told each one of them, they have no more brains or courage or heart than you have, but they have something you don't have. All you need is and then the wizard gave them a little emblem, right? A symbol, something that demonstrated what they had, right? So I get to do the job tonight of being the wizard, right? I get to be the one who can stand here and say, of all of the successful people out there in the world, they don't have anything more than what you have. You have every bit of capability that they have, but they may have something you don't. And I'll talk about that a little bit. Go, click. So let me just start with this. You were born to win. No one was born to be mediocre. Nobody was born to be mediocre. You were all born to win, and you have everything you need. Right? You have the innate ability to be highly successful in your career and in life. And so tonight, right now, you should just decide that you're going to win. If you were born to win, then you ought to just plan to win, right? Why not? Right? So, success secrets. You're going to have to pay attention to this next slide. Take lots of notes on this next slide, because here are the secrets of success. Ready? There they are. And by the way, I could show you 50 more slides just like this with that many more names. So I started looking at success secrets early in my career and think, what is it? What is it makes success? What do I need to do? And after a while, I got a little bit confused, because everybody has their own list, their own steps, their own principles, their own ideas of what success is. And they're not identical. And if they're not identical, then which one is right? And so it became a little confusing to me. And so I talked to a mentor one time and said, kind of help me sort through all of this data, all of this information. What are the true success principles? What are they? And he taught me an important lesson. The important lesson was that they're all right and that success is very personal. Success is very personal. Right? Although there are lots of hints and there's lots of clues and there's a lot of ideas that are out there, those things that are going to be right and perfect for you are things that you have to figure out. I have had 100 at least people throughout my career who have come up to me and say, just give me the secrets of success. Tell me your principles. Right? It's not that easy. It's not that easy. Everybody can share thoughts and ideas and hints and clues, but you have to experiment. Here's a very easy example of how they're different. You can have some person say, well, one of the secrets of success is you get up early. If you get up early, that's a secret of success. I know a lot of successful people who don't get up early. It's not what time you get out of bed, it's what you do with your time once you get out of bed. Right? So someone might have on their list, get out of bed. That's a success principle. That may not be true for everybody, right? So there are principles that you need to experiment with, try out, and if they work for you, great. And if they don't work for you, that doesn't mean that they're not right. That just means they're not right for you. Right? So you need to figure out what your 10 are and how you're going to weave them in. All right, so back to my job. Back to being the wizard, right? Go ahead and click to the next one. You already have the ability within you to acquire everything you need to be wildly successful. You just need a brain, heart, and courage, right? That's what the characters on The Wizard of Oz needed. And by the way, you all have a brain and a heart or you wouldn't be here. You all have courage, maybe varying degrees or levels of courage, but you all have courage. And you just need one more thing, and you just need a plan to win. It's just going to be this simple. Success doesn't happen by chance, right? It doesn't happen by chance. Sometimes you can get lucky, sometimes things go right, but it doesn't just happen by chance. So I'm going to share with you 5 principles. Honestly, I could spend a half-day session on each one of these 5 things. So you're going to get the Cliff Notes high-level version of these 5 things. And I will promise you this, as I share these 5 things and lots of different clues and principles here, I will say something tonight that each and every one of you can take home and listen to. And if you'll implement it with the commitment and dedication, it will make a big difference in your life. And I'll also promise you that what that one thing is will be different for each one of you. It's not going to be the same for everybody. All right, so number 1, create a plan to win and dream big. You need a plan, but don't expect anybody just to hand you your plan for life. Don't expect anybody just to give you the blueprint that you need for your life. You need one, but it needs to be yours. You need to create it, and when you create it, you should dream big. Don't create a plan for mediocrity. Don't create a plan for average. Create a plan for big, right? The self-limiting beliefs. I don't have time to plan. I don't have time for goals. I don't need a plan or goals to accomplish all that I want to do. I would tell you that if that second statement is true, and if you don't need a plan or goals for all the things that you want to do, then you don't want to do very much, right? If you're dreaming big and you want to do big things, it takes a plan and it takes goals, right? Go to the next one, right? You don't go out in your vehicle to go driving on a long destination without a roadmap or knowing where you want to go. You don't go out without a destination when you're driving. So why would you do that in your life, right? If you let life happen to you and you're just a passenger along for the ride, you've given away control. So one of the things you got to do is take control back and have a plan and know your destination, have a compass, have a map, know exactly where it is that you want to go. Clayton Christensen, Harvard Business School professor, author, has got some great material, great books out there, said this: I promise my students that if they take the time to figure out their purpose, they'll look back on it as the most important thing they discovered at Harvard Business School. Clarity about purpose will trump knowledge about activity-based costing, balanced scorecards, core competence, disruptive innovation, the 4 Ps, and the 5 forces. And that's a pretty powerful statement. Right? Clarity about purpose trumps a lot of things. So one of the questions is how do you find purpose? How do you find your purpose? I mean, there's a lot of different ideas and ways that you might do that. Have you ever heard of, anybody ever heard of Ikigai? Has anybody ever heard of Ikigai? Click to the next slide. So Ikigai is a Japanese word, and it's about finding your reason for being. And so Google it sometime. I'm not going to go deep into this, but Google it sometime, look at it. It's pretty fascinating. It talks about what you really love, what the world needs, what you can get paid for, what you're good at, and the intersection of those 4 things is your Ikigai. It's your purpose. It's your reason for being. Right? So look that up. It's a great way to find what that purpose or passion is. As you're doing that, dream big. Imagine that your life is perfect in every aspect, in every way. Now, what does it look like? Right? So is perfection possible? I don't know. But if you don't plan for perfect, you're certainly not going to get close. Right? You're not going to plan for something less than that, so plan for something big. There's all kinds of examples of people who have dreamt big, put together the plans, and gone out and done amazing things. I mean, Sir Edmund Hillary, first person to what? Climb Mount Everest. Roger Bannister, anybody know that name? Yeah, 4-minute mile, first person to break the barrier. Impossible to do, right? Until he did it, and then everybody else started doing it. Alex Honnold, anybody know who Alex Honnold is? A few people do. Alex Honnold is the guy in the picture. El Cap, 3,000 feet climb straight up a mountain with no ropes. Crazy, crazy, right? But he didn't just decide one day, gee, I'm going to go climb El Cap without ropes and go do it. It took years of planning, years of preparation, years of hard work, until he was able to go in 4 hours. And by the way, this is the one that you see on TV sometimes where you see people sort of anchored in on the side of a mountain and they sleep overnight because it takes multiple days to get there. 4 hours with no ropes. That's a dream big. Now, you don't have to go do that, right? You don't have to be the first person to climb Mount Everest. You don't have to be the first person to do something like that. But in your own life, do something big. Vilma in the Philippines. So actually, Zenon and Teresa, was Teresa in the video? Zenon was in the video. So a couple of these are mentors clients were in the videos earlier. But Vilma in the Philippines, go ahead and click to the next slide. Let me show you an example, one more, of dreaming big in the Philippines. Right? So this is a little store where she sells drinks, and her biggest seller is something called a banana queue. Anybody ever heard of a banana queue? So banana queue is right here in the middle. She goes and buys 100 kilos a day of bananas, chops them up, puts them in a fryer, and then sells them. And her big dream was, I need my kids to have a better life. I want my kids to have an education. So for years, she has sold banana queues. Go to the next slide. So this is her old house. And that's the house she's building. But that's not the real success story. You really can't see the success story because it's too dark. But right here, there's a picture, a poster on her old house, current house, that's a picture of her 2 daughters. And on the bottom of the picture, it says, congratulations. They had just graduated with honors from the university. And they're now sending their mother back money to build her dream home. Not much of what we would call a dream home, but a huge difference from where she raised her daughters, right here. That's the power of dreaming big and creating a plan and doing something. Go ahead to the next one. You can kid your parents, you can kid your neighbors, you can kid your friends, kid the marketplace, kid everybody. But don't kid yourself with your fingers crossed, hoping that you're going to arrive at a good destination when you're not even headed that way. Right? Know where you want to go. Don't kid yourself. If you don't have a destination, get one. Does it have to be the same for your entire life? No. You can start off in geology and end up in the cheese business. Right? It doesn't have to be the same. So pivot. Pivot's okay. But always have a destination where you're going. Go to the next one. Second principle. The first was create your plan and dream big. The second one is believe in your plan and expect success. Right? Self-limiting doubts. I can't, which is doubt, or I don't dare, which is fear. Doubt and fear will kill more success than failure ever will. Right? Doubt and fear will kill success more than failure ever will. Go to the next one. Walk the plank. Right? If there was a 12-inch wide board that I placed along the floor here, and I pulled a $100 bill out of my pocket and said that I'd give this $100 bill to anybody who would come up here and walk across this 12-inch plank, who would be willing to do that? It's kind of a no-brainer, right? What if I took that same 12-inch plank and put it 5 feet in the air and said, same plank, same $100 bill, who'd be willing to come and do that? Right, okay, so let's get a little trickier. What if it's between the tallest skyscrapers in the world? No parachute, no rope to attach you, same reward. Who'd be willing to come and walk across the 12-inch wide plank? Are you the Vikings fans? Because you were never that smart. I mean, oh. All right. You knew I was going to pick on the Vikings fans, right? All right. Not that many do, right? There's always a couple people, but why not? It's the same plank. It's the same distance. It's the same reward. Why wouldn't you do it if it's so high? Right. Yeah.
So the risk outweighs the reward.
Yeah, risk, right? I'll tell you what, when it's on the ground, what do you see yourself doing? You see yourself walking across. When it's that high in the air, what do you see yourself doing? You see yourself falling. It's the same plank. You just see it differently. If you see yourself walking across, you will. If you see yourself falling, guess what? You will. Right? Life is what you think. Life isn't all of the events that happen to you. Life isn't all the circumstances that happen to you. Life is what you think about all of the events and circumstances that happen to you. Life is the words and the thoughts that you place on the events that happen to you. Right? You can have the exact same event and choose a word or a thought, and you can change your emotion. Right? You can change how you feel. Not that the event changed, but the words that you use and the thoughts that you think changed. If you knew how powerful your thoughts were, you'd never have a negative thought. That's how powerful our thoughts are. Right? Your thoughts are the primary creative force in your life. You create your entire world by the way you think. All of the people and situations of your life have only the meaning you give them by the way you think about them. Think about that, right? And when you change your thinking, you change your life sometimes in seconds. Your thoughts are powerful. Go to the next one. Right? If you think you're beaten, you are. If you think you dare not, you don't. If you like to win but think you can't, it's almost a cinch that you won't. Life's battles don't always go to the stronger or faster woman or man. Sooner or later, the one who wins is the one who thinks he or she can. The power of your thoughts is amazing. Have a plan, but believe in your plan. Believe in your plan. All right, third step. Execute your plan. Anybody ski Jackson Hole, Wyoming? Anybody gone off Corbett's Clear? All right. That's an amazing drop-off if you haven't done it. You should do it sometime. I don't do it anymore. I let my sons go and I just watch them. I just take the pictures. Right? Execute your plan. Go to the next one. Self-limiting doubts. Need more time, information, opinions. I'll do it tomorrow. Right? The secret of success, there's another hint, is in your daily agenda. Right? What's the significance of 86,400? Seconds in a day. Right. I've traveled the world numerous times. It doesn't matter what country, it doesn't matter what people, it doesn't matter their circumstances. There is one thing, and only one thing, that I have found absolute equality in. Everybody, regardless of where they live, regardless of their background, has the exact same 86,400 seconds in a day. Right? The people who have become successful have learned how to leverage their time. Have learned how to take advantage of those 86,400 seconds and do something with them. Right? All we have is our time. The way we spend our time is our strategy. The way we spend our time is our priority. Right? You equal your calendar. Your calendar never lies. You can say all you want about what's important. You can say all you want about what your strategy is. You can say all you want about everything. But look back at your day. How you spent your time tells you what's most important in your life. It's not what you say is important. It's what you do that says what's important. Right? So one of the challenges is not just sitting and looking over the edge or sitting at the top of the water slide, but actually going. In fact, go click one more. We generate fears when we sit. We overcome them by taking action. The longer you look over the edge, the harder it is. The longer you wait to take action, the harder it becomes to take action. Right? You generate your fear by sitting there. Right? You overcome it by taking action. They've put heart rate monitors on people who jump out of airplanes for the first time. Right? And so they'll put the heart rate monitor on, and as the plane gets higher, what happens to the heart rate? Yeah, right. It starts beating faster and faster and faster, all the way up till it's almost out of control when they're getting ready to jump out of the airplane. And when they jump out of the airplane, what do you think happens to their heart rate? It immediately slows down, even before the chute's been pulled, right? They're in the safety of the plane, their heart's racing like crazy, and when they jump and are falling to their death, their heart calms down. Figure that one out, right? Figure that one out, right? It's because when you take action, you calm down, right? Things get in control. It's the waiting, it's the anticipation, it's the fear, it's the doubt that causes the problems. Right, back to the $100 bill. Who'd like this $100 bill? This is like near unanimous. How bad would you like?
Hi, Ron.
Hi.
How's it going?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm doing well.
Are you a Chicago Bear fan?
I'm from St. Louis.
Yeah.
They don't really
Yeah.
have a team anymore. So
Did you want this?
I would like it.
Okay. What are you going to do?
May I have it?
I don't know. Oh. You got it. All right. All right. Should I do it with another one? No, there's a safety factor here, and I don't want to get trampled. All right, here's a lesson. Here's a lesson. Right? Success doesn't go to you. You have to go to success. You have to take the action. You can sit there all day and say, I want it, I want it, I want it, and you won't find it. It's when you get up and take the initiative and do something that you can find it. Right? I've done that. You almost lost that, by the way. Right? I've done that all over the world. I did it to this little village in Ghana, and for there it was like $10, and $10 is huge for them. Right? And there was this little guy who came up, and I just held it. Right? And he was like, I don't know whether I should take it or not. And pretty soon this old elderly lady came up and she grabbed it. Like everybody cheered. They started dancing. They thought it was like the coolest thing ever. Right? And he like dejectedly walked away like it was so close. Right? So close. Right? You got to get it. You have to take action. You have to take action. Okay? And sometimes it's that simple. And sometimes, you know why we don't? Because we're afraid. What if that was the wrong thing? What if that was the wrong thing? All right, I've had it before where someone has been walking from the back all the way down, and they were almost here, and someone on the front row looked and saw him coming down, and they runched up and they grabbed it. Right? And the person that was running from the back said, "That's not fair." Well, guess what? Sometimes life just isn't fair. Seriously. Sometimes it's how you're positioned to take advantage of the opportunities that come along. Right? There's a lot of things that matter, but taking action is really, really important. Go ahead to the next one. So the question is, right, there's so many things that you can take action on. How do you know what to do? Right? There's so many things coming our way. Anybody ever read the book, The One Thing? How many times have you read the book, The One Thing? Yeah, right? So there's a principle in The One Thing called the domino effect. The domino effect talks about how dominoes work, right? So one domino knocks down the next domino, knocks down the next domino, and as long as the second domino is no greater than 50% larger than the first, it can be knocked down. If it's larger than that, there's not enough mass there to knock the second one down. But as long as it's no more than 50%, it knocks down the next one and the next one and the next one. So you can do the math on it and say, if you line up a bunch of dominoes and each one is 50% larger than the last one, go ahead and click the next slide, what will happen? Well, if you do that, by the 23rd domino, it's as tall as the Eiffel Tower. By the 31st domino, it's looming over Mount Everest. And by the 57th domino, it would be tallest from here to the moon. It's amazing, right? So the problem in life, though, is that people keep knocking over 2-inch dominoes. Right? You got to figure out, and just randomly, this is part of the plan, figure out what domino matters, which one you want to knock over, and then get a sequence in place where you can reach the 57th domino. And by the way, you can't shortcut the system. You can't go from step 1 to step 10 because sometimes it doesn't work. It doesn't knock it down. So there are processes that you have to go through. Focus is a 10x multiplier. Focus is a 10x multiplier. Read the book. If you haven't read it, read it. I mean, there's just so many good things in there, but focus in your life can be a 10x multiplier. Whether it's time blocking, doing the most important thing, doing the one thing that matters most. Go ahead and click through here. Habits. Let me just talk a second about habits. I can predict, I think with pretty good accuracy, almost anybody's future. And the reason I can predict someone's future is all I have to do is look at their past. All I have to do is look at their habits. Right? People want a different future, but they don't change their habits and their patterns and behaviors. They're always the same. And if you always keep the same habits, patterns, and behaviors, your future is going to look just like your past did. Right? So if you want to change your future, change your habits, change your patterns, change your behaviors. It's kind of that simple. Habits are life's compound interest. Y'all know the principle of compound interest, right? Habits are life's compound interest. Go ahead to the next one. Knowing is not enough, we must apply. Learning is not enough, we must do. Don't go to school and don't let learning get you just knowledge. Let learning get you to action. If all learning does is get you knowledge, it's not good enough. Let learning get you to action. Go ahead to the next one. All right, fourth one, and I'm going to really, because my time is up, cruise through these last couple. But people matter. Make them part of your plan, right? I can do this alone. Common misperception. I can do this alone. You can't do it alone. You might be able to, but you can't do it as good as if you do it with other people. Right? Learn from others. There is something you can learn from everybody anywhere in the world. Go ahead and click twice. Right? Build relationships. Be a relationship builder in life. Click. Be an energizer. I kind of have this feeling that people either add energy or they take away energy. You've all been around people who, when they walk in the room just kind of brightens up, right? But you've been around people who, when they walk in the room, everybody's like, oh crap, here they are, right? Don't be one of those people, right? Be someone where you walk in and the room brightens up, right? Add to relationships, don't subtract from relationships. Be a multiplier in your team, in your relationship, not a divider, right? You get to choose whether you do that or not. Let's keep going. One more. Keep going. All right, be kind. Be kind. All right? It's never too soon to be kind because you never know how soon it will be too late. I've seen that too many times throughout my life. It's never too soon to be kind because you never know how soon it will be too late. Don't have any regrets. Right? Be kind with people. Go to the next one. Care about people. There was a story told a number of years ago. They were trying to find the most caring child. The winner was a 4-year-old little boy. This little boy had some neighbors who were elderly. The wife passed away, so there was an elderly gentleman who was one day sitting out on his porch. And this little 4-year-old boy saw him, and he had tears running down his eyes, around his face. And so the little boy went and climbed up on his lap. Pretty soon he came home, and the mother asked this little boy, "What did you say?" Then the little boy said, "Well, I didn't say anything. I just helped him cry." Right? Caring isn't big and flashy and showy. It's not waving a banner and saying how much I care. It's just helping somebody cry sometimes. Right? Care for people. Be kind to people. Go to the next one. Last one. Be energized by your plan. So have a plan and dream big. Create your own plan and dream big. Right? You got to believe in it. Expect success. You got to execute. Involve people because people matter. And then be energized by it. Right? Have fun. Go to the next one, please. The happiness myths. You all know what the happiness myths are. I'll be happy when. Fill in the blank. I graduate from college, I get married, I have my dream job, I make $1 million, whatever it happens to be. They're myths. Happiness is not in the destination. Happiness is in the journey. Someone shouted out one time and said, "Look, no, if I got $1 million, I'd be happy." And I said, "You would only be happy if you were happy in the journey. If not, you're going to be a miserable millionaire." Right? Be happy in the journey, and it's a choice. Love what you do. Go ahead. The Power of Moments. There's another great book. It's called The Power of Moments if you want another great book to read. Like, life is mostly a series of unforgettable events. You can look back at life. I can tell you, as I advance in life and look back, it's just a whole bunch of unforgettable moments. But there are a lot of highs and there's lows. You know, you remember the peaks and the valleys. Those are the things you remember in life. Create more peaks. Create more moments. Right? Those are the things that you remember. Go ahead to the next one, please. Go ahead, one more. Happiness has its own reward. Right? Why be happy? Because your mood brightens, the spirits of those around you. Your self-confidence soars. Your interpersonal relations improve. Your performance improves. You want to know why you should be happy? Because all of those things. Go ahead and click to the next one. So make the choice. Smile, laugh, have fun. Happiness is contagious. You ever notice that? Right? Anywhere I go in the world, I roll down my window and I smile and I wave, and first they think I'm crazy, but then they smile back and they wave back. Right? It's like the most contagious thing there is, a smile and a wave. Be happy. Choose to be happy. Go ahead. All right, so here they are. Create a plan and dream big. This is your blueprint right here. Right? Believe in your plan and expect success. Execute your plan, take action. People matter. Involve others. Be kind to others. Care for others. Right? Be energized by your plan. Have fun. Right? Go ahead one more time. So last slide. You already have the ability within you to acquire everything you need to be wildly successful. So go be everything you're capable of becoming. Right? Click back one slide. Be everything you're capable of becoming. Don't be this. Perhaps the greatest torture that could be devised would be for us to be forced in our later years to watch a continually repeating movie of the lives we could have led had we dared to believe in and pursue the dreams and goals that were available and attainable in our lifetimes. Right? Go achieve the things that you're capable of achieving. You have the ability. You have the capacity. So go make it happen. All right, I'm over on my time, so I'll stop there. Thank you. Questions? Sure, okay.
Alrighty. We're thankful for Ron, and we're just going to have time for 2 questions. So if anyone's got questions, you can just raise your hand, and Ron will pick on you.
Yes, please.
You talk about success a lot. What has been your greatest success in your lifetime?
All right, so the question was, I talk about success a lot. What has been my greatest success in my lifetime? So that's a great answer. I've never really thought about it in terms of what's my greatest success. A hokey answer, but a real true answer that I would say would be my grandkids. Right? So it's a generation down, but my grandkids, I love my grandkids. Little cute redhead, they love to ski, they love their papa. What else is better in life? What else? One more. Okay. Yes?
You have another $100 in your pocket?
I do, but you can't have it. All right, you're a Packers fan. All right, I'll think about it. Now, hey, thank you, everybody. Great success to you.